Do you want to be a fly on the wall in one of my real estate sales team meetings? Well, I'm going to give it to you. So I recently recorded a real estate sales team meeting and I'm going to share it with you. So stay tuned. Also, social proof. So I send people past client testimonials. Get past client testimonial videos. Get people to share what it's like to work with you and share these little videos. Make them short so you can send them easily. Like if it's through Messenger or whatever, you've got to create like this. These are all the things that it takes. So if you're just sitting up thinking you're just going to make calls every day and say this random, like, hi, are you ready to buy or sell? I'm your chosen realtor for Dallas-Fort Worth. If you think you're going to make this a career, then you better think again. You're going to be quitting like every 87% of people who do in 5 years. And 5 years is a long time to put into something to quit, to have to quit because you haven't building that muscle. So that's what I was saying. Like if you have the opportunity to be on this team, especially if you're new, like there's a short leash, and not meaning like you got a leash around your neck, but I'm just saying like there's a short like window for it to make sense. So you've got to work this system. You got to do everything to create an opportunity for success for you. We get them to like, know, and trust us on the front end, right? So we're working this alongside you guys before we even pull them into the system. Like, look at our freaking like click-through open rates. Like it's close to 50%. You know why? Because we're giving value. This is another one, close to 60% open rate. We're doing little stuff on social media, so you can do that too. Like you can have our marketing team put together some flyers for you to post, or you can ask them to post them for you. Like it doesn't matter. Like, but all I'm saying is it takes more than just like, I'm just going to randomly call people or I'm going to talk to my family. Like this is serious business. Like there's a lot of money on the table, right? For real estate transactions, there is, but it requires a lot too. We do texting, we do all this stuff on the front end. That's why I said they go through a 4-step process before you even see them, and we get a response before we even pull them in. So we're building that trust up front before they even come in. Trusting is a step-by-step process. It's a consistency. It's consistently depositing value, consistently bringing them things they wouldn't be able to find on their own before you even get the communication. Before they even talk back to you, you got to keep giving value. Then guess what? They're going to turn around and be like, okay, I'm ready. I want to talk, or I want to know what you have. So it continues through the initial engagement, through the first communication to the face-to-face. It continues. So that's the process, you guys. And then I'm going to just go through like just some system checks. Okay. So there are better times to connect with people. Morning, evening, afternoon is not good time. Do all your busy work in the afternoon. Response time is critical. When people register, if you call within a few minutes, you have a higher likelihood to get them on the phone. Okay. Most people work with the first person they talk to. Persistence is key. If you don't get them on that first call, it takes about 6 dials or 6 calls to have a 90% chance of them answering. Most sales agents quit after the second call. Like it's 1 or 2 calls, and then it's having customized communication, talking about, if you're talking to somebody who owns a home, giving them a predictive analysis report, right? Hey, are you interested in knowing what your house is worth today and what it may be worth in the next 3 to 6 months? Would that be, give them something they can't find on their own. Our introduction, when you call people, right, we're not salesy, number one, and we confirm who they are. That's the initial thing, like, hi, Joe, or just Joe, and pause. Don't just like, sales vomit all over them, right? Hi, Joe or Joe. And I'm going to pause and wait for them to confirm that that's who they are. And then I'm going to go into who I am. Like, hey, I'm just reaching out. You had requested information on our website. We just wanted to see if we could answer any questions for you, get to know your situation a little bit better. If they start rushing, you got to bring the value. You got to have value. Well, hey, I have access to these off-market properties. We've got an off-market database. What areas are you interested in? Because I could probably send these over to you too. Right? Then I can go in and I can ask them what their timeline is, and it will flow, right? Because their timeline is going to give me their motivation. So I can say,
Like, hey, these off-market properties tend to sell pretty quickly and I may be able to get you in. Like, I have an off-market property today that I'm taking somebody to go see. And that's somebody I pulled from the pipeline. We haven't talked to him in a while, but I was able to get the listing agent to agree to let me go show it before it even goes. It's coming soon. If it's a higher price point that people are looking in, most likely this isn't their first home. So you have to be prepared to have a conversation about selling with them. And don't be afraid to ask those questions, right? Like, I want to know what numbers make sense for them. I want to know if the numbers make sense and they're able to make a significant profit. Do they want to sell their home, right? I want to know how much they expect to get for their house. That tells me a lot about their motivation. I want to know on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 meaning it needs a lot of work, 10 meaning it's like a model home, how they rate their home. And then we have our scripts in our in the welcome email that you got. Part of presenting to people and building rapport is knowing what their disc style is. So being able to size somebody up pretty quickly, even on the phone. Like, I can tell how somebody answers the phone for the most part, what they are. If they're really short, hello? Yes. If they're really short, they're probably going to be a D because they want you to get straight to the point. If they're like, hi, yeah, how are you? You know, like if they want to talk to you a little bit, like you can see their smile like through the phone, they're probably going to be an I. If they're like a little bit, so there's pace too, right? Fast talkers are D's and I's. D's and I's move quickly. If you see them walk, they walk fast, they talk fast. S's and C's are slower, movers, talkers, right? So if they talk fast and they're straight to the point, they're a D. If they talk fast and they're conversational, they're an I. If they talk slow and they want details, they're a C. If they talk slow and they don't sound like they feel comfortable making a decision, they're an S, right? So we should be able to identify people, and then we should be able to know what frustrates them and what helps them. So we should be communicating from that. You can't talk the same way to everybody. This is just I wanted to share, right? And it shows where buyers found the home they purchased, right? So I told you 97% of people start their search online. And then this shows you where they found the house that they actually ended up buying. So if you add up the 50 and the 28%, which we're marketing online and we're realtors, that's almost 80%. Pricing is critical. So knowing how, because people are going to ask you about price. That's going to be like one of the first things, like, what do you think I can get it for? So you got to know this stuff, right? You got to have a general idea. Like if somebody says, oh yeah, I want to stay under 550. I want a new construction in Frisco. Like, what is my response going to be? Like, it's not happening, right? Because I know you're not going to get a new construction 550 or less in Frisco. You have to know what the market's doing. You have to be able to do a quick assessment formula, and that's, I have a pricing video and it talks about like taking the square footage. Like, so I can go, and I usually do about 500 plus or minus, even though it's 25% is what I use, but I usually take 500 off the square footage, and I take like 2 years if it's a newer house off the age plus or minus, and I want to stay within a quarter of a mile, if at all possible, right? So that should tell me pretty quickly. Like if I'm on the phone with somebody talking to them, I can pull up the MLS and start searching really quickly to get an idea of what I think is going on price-wise in that area. This is our older sheet, but this has been updated. Everybody has a copy of this. So having the follow-up process is key. Like the money is made in the follow-up, and we follow up based on people's timeline. Accountability is huge. I'm looking at things like, are you accountable? Like, are you sharing your schedule without me having to share mine first, right? Those are things like little things like that. Are you putting your numbers in? Little things like that help me when I talk to your team leader. If you're on a team, if we haven't had success yet, we're going to go and look at these things. Like, are they doing a schedule? Are they working full time? Are they showing up to the meetings? Are they filling out their real estate commitment sheet? Like those are determining factors, because we can't help you if you're not doing those things. You're 77.6% more likely to accomplish your goals when you're held accountable, almost 80%. So between the schedule and the accountability, you're setting yourself up for success. We have these tracking sheets. So I have my grind book. Like, I'm not better than this. Like, like the stuff that I've put in place, this is what I do. Like you guys can see, I have a schedule in here. Like I document stuff, I track my numbers. I use the same stuff. So you should have this grind book, foil bound, printed out. I have it right here. This is where I work. I have it sitting right here next to me. So if you're not doing these things, if you're not tracking your numbers, it's going to be really hard for anybody to help you. It's going to be hard for you to help yourself. It's going to be hard for you to self-discover where your opportunities for growth are. You have to track your numbers.
If this video was helpful for you, please make sure you like it. If you want to hear more, make sure you subscribe. If you want to talk more about the systems and tools that I use that I mentioned in my sales meeting, if you want to learn about how you could have access to the same systems and tools, make sure you schedule a time. There's a link in the description for my calendar. Block up some time and we'll sit down and chat about it.